while we're waiting for people to join us, how about we invite people to join us via chat and just say, what do you know? Tell us what you know about Namaste Direct.
Yeah.
Except for those of you that are close to the organization, what do you know about Namaste Direct? Would you put that in the chat for us?
Sure.
That'd be great. Let's hear from you. Jay Archer, I know you know something about Namaste.
Yeah, well, and I'm finding out more.
Right, great.
Right?
Great to have you.
Eugenia, is Eugenia on the call?
Eugenia, yes, she is.
Yes, I'm here, James.
I see your name there. I see. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
Excelente, excelente, gracias. Gracias a Dios.
Excelente.
And we do have Bob Graham as well, who you meet a little bit later. So let me read a couple of these as we come along here. Pieta Van Dyke says she did a couple of field visits with the Harborside Rotary Club. Fantastic, Pieta. That's exciting. And Elizabeth says helping businesswomen start and improve their businesses. Yes, and Elizabeth, you'll learn a little bit more about that as well. Thank you. Mary Coward, that's how you're connected. Our Rotary Club in Victoria, BC has been involved with Namaste for about 8 years. Fantastic. So we'll let a few more people come in here. And those of you who are just joining us, what we're doing is having you share in the chat. What do you know about Namaste? Namaste Direct. I hear more of those doorbells going off. That's fantastic.
I want to say hello to Bob Brown. Nice to see you. Long time no see.
Hello. Thank you, Joan Godoy. She says, I know you invest in Guatemalan women, and I thank you for it. You're so welcome. You're going to learn more about that today as well, Joan. Thank you so much. And Brian Evans says, Namaste has been doing amazing work in Guatemala for around 20 years. Thanks, Brian. And you know what's great is we have literally people coming in, at least from all over North America, well, North and South America, excuse me, and Central America. How great is that? And Mike Lyons says, Namaste helps women-owned businesses and promotes self-sustainability in Guatemala. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Quite right. Oh, and a few more coming in. This is great. You guys are so good. Linda Resnick says, women international leaders donated to Namaste. You do great work and have significant data and results. Friendship Bridge recommended. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Linda. Denise DeTore says she was honored to go to Guatemala with Namaste in 2019. Let's go back, Denise. You ready? I'm ready. And Jay says, I only recently connected with Namaste Direct, and I'm very excited about the mission and goals. I'm happy to be here today to find out more. Fantastic. So we'll maybe just give it, say, 1 to 1.5 more minutes as people find their way in, and then we'll kick off. We have a very, very full agenda here, lots of people for you to meet and talk with and interact with. So we want to start close to on time. Here is a couple more. Hello, Wendy Ruiz. So great. G. Archer says, well, if you do go, I'd love to tag along. Well, we would encourage that kind of behavior, Jay. Totally encourage that. Right? Lindsay Palaksek says, enabling Guatemalan women to build thriving businesses to support themselves, their families, and communities. Excited to learn more. Lindsay, so happy to have you. That's fantastic. We've got quite a few people here already, so I'll read one more comment and then I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Robert Brown says, hello to you, Eugenia. Nice to see you, even if not in person. Hoping to come to Guatemala in the new year, so we'll visit with you then. Sounds like a wonderful promise. So let's kick off. Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Elise Cortez, and I am a board member of Namaste Direct, and I have the privilege of getting to MC this event for us today, and I'm delighted to do so. You're going to get to meet several of the cast of characters, if you will, that make Namaste work and hear from their perspective as to what they're doing and why this place is so special. So just to give us a little bit of an orientation here, I want to orient you as to the general purpose of Namaste Direct. Essentially, we're around to empower and enable businesswomen in Guatemala to navigate from poverty to middle class and help them learn to dream again. Usually they've forgotten to dream, and work alongside them to make their dreams come through. through their improved business results and operations. We do this through business advising, teaching financial literacy, and providing customized microloans. And we are distinguished by the quality of our education programs, personalized advising, and the way we collect and utilize data, which we'll hear more about later on as we go along. So we're going to be hearing from a few important key people here, and we've got a couple videos for you to be able to see, to experience just who is Namaste Direct and how do they matter in the world. I will tell you that from my vantage point, I work as a management consultant specializing in meaning and purpose. And I don't think you can go a day without hearing the words meaning and purpose. So I'm connected to Namaste Direct because I believe profoundly in their purpose, and what they're doing in the world helps to be able, for all of us to be able to experience more meaning in our connection to it, and to know that we're part of something that really does make dreams come true. So that's why I'm connected to this organization and proud to serve them. So to kick us off here, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to hear, or not hear from, you're going to see a video here that is going to introduce you to more of the work that we do and why it's important. It's going to be played by our very own Desiree Lyons, who's the Director of Development. So take it away, Desiree, with that video.
Okay. Thank you. Just give me 1 second to get my optimization for sharing a video. We've got this. Is it okay?
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you, Desiree. So those of you that are joining us for this conversation, give us some feedback. What did you get out of that? What resonated with you in that film? What did you, maybe you learned something new about Namaste that you didn't know before. So in the chat, if you would, let us know what resonated, what you get from that. And if some of you are tearing up, that's great. I do every time. So what did you learn? Yeah, thanks, Bob. Robert Brown always hits the heart. Excellent video. Thank you. Anna Maria, she saw a flyer. Where are these flyers, right? That's a good question. Where, Desiree or Eugenia, where are these flyers? That's a great question.
The flyers, we typically have our business advisors and field staff put flyers around local marketplaces. And in the communities where we work, we get a lot of new clients from flyer promotion in that space?
Great question. Glad you asked that question. Namaste is changing lives, breaking poverty cycles, and creating a better future for generations to come. True. Ooh, Jean Dowdle. Yes, exactly. The multiplier impact. Absolutely. Lindsay, investing in women helps local economies thrive. We're going to learn more about that, Lindsay. Why women? Why invest in women? We're going to learn more about that. So hang on for that. Michael, the video was profound and inspiring. Thank you, Michael. It really is. Mike Lyons, helping people at a local level influence the communities they live in. Oh, yes, exactly right. So beyond just empowering these women to better steward their businesses, what Namaste Direct does as well is it enables and grows the overall woman. She becomes stronger in the community. It's incredible to behold. And Jay, ripples, so important. Helping one person often has a much larger impact. Meg, the ripple effect, part of the message. Excellent. Yes. And Pieta, the importance of business training and financial literacy, not just the loan. Absolutely right, Pieta. That's one of our most distinguishing things is the quality of our programs, the quality of our education. And then finally, we'll grab Martin Harbin's comment. Visited Guatemala in 2018 with Namaste. Video was a great reminder of the role of Namaste to overcome life problems of women. Absolutely, Martin. Thank you so much. This is so great. We're going to keep going because we have so much more to share with you. Thank you very much for your engagement. It's so much more interesting to hear your voices and your comments. So thank you. And please do continue to engage. We'll monitor the chat room as well. So you've had a chance now to learn a little bit more about what Namaste does. Now I want to give you the fantastic opportunity to meet the person who made it happen. Bob Graham is the founder. And I want to share a little bit about him with you. So he's going to come on screen here. And I've got a few questions for this man. Bob Graham, can you join us?
Here I am.
Oh, there he is, the star of the show.
Hey, it's great to be here.
It certainly is great to have you.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So I've been asked to say something about the story, you know, what is our beginning? And it all began 48 years ago in Guatemala when I was a member of the California Agricultural Leadership Program. We visited the country. We visited out in the fields. We visited with Mayans, and I was shocked. Middle class background didn't prepare me for the kind of poverty and servitude, semi-slavery, people with guns bossing people around. It was frightening. And so I said to myself then, oh my God, you know, well, if I ever have the opportunity, I'm going to help people like this. And I didn't realize I was making a vow. And so this was serious stuff. So my vow simmered along until 1983, which was what, 10 years after that. And guess what? I was being quite successful in business. And I thought, this is the time to put myself out there. And I developed this plan where I would work half the time and I would volunteer half the time, volunteer and contribute. And my business partner didn't like hearing this, but he was pretty sharp with the tongue. And he says, oh, this is a 50-50 plan. And I said, great. So I started Catalysis as the nonprofit, and we started the working with the social model of Professor Yunus in Bangladesh. He ultimately won the Nobel Prize, and we were bringing microcredit to people at the bottom of the ladder. Ultimately, we expanded throughout Central America.
So Bob, we should probably make sure that people understand what your professional background is. You are an accountant.
I was a CPA
Mhm.
and a business guy. So that influenced the work, the business side of me. So we were very successful, and by 2004, we had 180,000 borrowers strewn across 5 countries in Central America. But by 2005, we felt that now there was not only plenty of microcredit available, there was maybe too much. And so we, my associates and I, we began anew on a different set of premises. Instead of introducing a model and saying, this is what we're going to do, which was the microcredit model, we said, let's ask the women what they want, instead of us already having a program. So we interviewed about 400 women in Guatemala and asked them, what do they need? What else do they need than money? And they expressed they needed marketing help, they needed advice, they needed new products, they didn't even know what all they needed, but they needed a lot, and work with us. We'll learn together what we need. And this was really, really good. Instead of asking experts what to do, we asked the women, because you know what? The women are the experts on themselves. So the program evolved to where the most important thing we do is give business advice and meet with them every month and coach them on their business. And we give them financial literacy courses, which is the second most important. And the microcredit is actually the third most important. And all of this has been very successful. We have a secret sauce. How did we become so successful? The first thing we ask the women is, what's your dream? What's your dream? Tell us what your dream is, and we'll help you achieve your dream. And that's what really drives people. They're the most successful if they've got an opportunity to realize some personal dream. And combined with that, with the fact that we're very data driven and like data analytics, and so we've got these results where typically the women double their take-home profits and when they graduate from these 9-month courses. And by the end of if they took 2 courses, they will have doubled their profit.
Is that your timer going up, Bob, telling you that you've reached your time? It worked. Thank you very much, Bob. You gave us so much information in a short amount of time. I wish we could have you talk longer. You stick around if you would, though, Bob, because we'll have questions toward the end. So that was fantastic. They gave me more things still that I didn't know.
Okay.
Thank you to our founder, Bob Graham. All right, so what we want to do next is share with you another video. This one is really focused on a client per se. So Desiree, will you cue up the next video for us?
Absolutely.
Ahora son muy independientes las mujeres, entonces todas trabajamos y siento que es importante que nos ayuden con estos créditos, ¿verdad? Porque sí nos ayuda un montón. Mi nombre es Lesbia Corina Sicajocal. Mi negocio es de refacciones, tostadas, dobladas, tacos, rellenos, atol. Me pareció una institución muy buena para trabajar. No tienen intereses muy altos. Le ayudan a uno bastante y bueno, no necesita uno mayor cosa, solo el negocio. Y bueno, compré una estufa de leña, compré estufa de horno que yo no tenía. Y eso me ayuda para el negocio. Bueno, que vienen ellos, viene don Edwin, viene don Mario y vienen a decirle a uno, ¿verdad?, qué puede hacer. Le dan ideas para seguir progresando en el negocio. Otras cosas que tal vez uno no tiene, le dicen a uno, bueno, puede comprar esto para vender y le dan ideas a uno, entonces por eso. Pusimos servicio a domicilio para ver de qué manera se vendía más, porque sí, estuvo muy silencio. Entonces ellos vinieron y bueno, me daban ideas, ¿verdad?, para ver si qué servicio a domicilio, que hiciera esto. Y sí, la verdad sí funcionó. Y sinceramente con la moto, pues, mire, todos entramos al trabajo, ¿verdad? Entonces toda mi familia andaba ahí, mi esposo, mis hijos, ellos repartían y mientras nosotros con mis hijas, pues hacíamos el negocio para vender a domicilio. Porque sí es bien difícil vender a domicilio, cuesta más, pero se vende más. No llevaba un control de mi negocio. Entonces ellos también me ayudaron a ver cómo podía llevarla, no sé, cuánto era de ganancia, y qué era lo que hacía, cuánto ganaba a diario. Entonces ahí pude llevar un control de mi negocio.
Inicialmente, cuando ingresó al programa, su negocio era muy pequeño, sus ventas eran por la tarde, ella sacaba su venta tipo 4 de la tarde para las 6 de la tarde. Hoy en día ella está ya en el programa que nosotros le denominamos el cuarto ciclo. Esto es un monto de desembolso de 15,000 quetzales donde ella ha podido trabajar sus refacciones a otro nivel. La pandemia le hizo transformar su negocio porque ahora ya trabaja la preventa, llama a los clientes por teléfono, y su hijo, al ver el desarrollo de su mamá, que al inicio no fue así, ni el esposo, utilizan la moto del esposo y el hijo entrega pedidos en los hogares. Ella ha sido en la comunidad un ejemplo del trabajo que el programa de Fundación Namaste Guatemaya ha hecho en las comunidades, porque hay personas vecinas que estuvieron en el programa pero que no supieron aprovechar. Ella, por el contrario, aunque se sentía muy sola, pero siempre contó con la fundación, se ha ido desarrollando paso a paso. Quizás algunos podrían decir que muy lentamente, pero cada paso que ha dado ha sido seguro, firme, y busca desarrollar los sueños que ella tiene. Ella sueña con tener un pequeño restaurante en su casa, porque son comunidades que son visitadas por turistas y muchos turistas todavía quieren disfrutar de ciertos platillos típicos de la localidad, y ella elabora esos platos típicos.
¿Qué metas, qué sueños tiene usted?
Hay poner otro negocio, un negocio familiar, ¿va? Y están mis hijos y todo, pues con ellos, mi esposo, hemos pensado poner otro negocio de venta de chucos o carnitas, chicharrones, qué sé yo, de todo. Tenemos que ver qué hacemos.
Wow, talk about impact, huh? You actually saw it unfold in front of your very eyes. So anything that you'd like to put in the chat to see what you got from that is welcomed and encouraged, please. For me, it just never ceases to amaze me how much you can make a difference, really elevating a life through these programs and the advice. It's just really profound to get to know you make a difference in that way. Extend your reach, if you will. So what we're going to do next is actually hear from one of our amazing women in this organization who's there in Guatemala. Eugenia Duran is the executive director of Fundación Namaste Guatemaya. She's going to give you a real world view of what's happening for women in Guatemala today, and come to help us really come to understand why the work Namaste does is so critical in lifting the lives in this country. Welcome, Eugenia.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you. It's nice to see friends that I have been able to meet here. And because of this pandemic, we have not been able to visit each other and see new faces. That's great for us. And just an overview of how is the life in Guatemala. Guatemala live in a machista culture at all levels. For example, in a study done in 2008-2009, men were asked if his wife needed to ask him permission to perform certain activities. And surprisingly, 81% answered that they needed to ask permission to leave the house. 58% needed his permission to use contraceptives. 67% to manage the household money. And 77% needed his permission to perform other activities such as work or study out of the house. Women in Guatemala tend to own fewer businesses, own less properties, and have a greater difficulty entering the formal labor market. Here in Guatemala, 85% of men participate in the formal market, opposed to only 37%. So how is this situation for indigenous women in Guatemala? Is worst. The indigenous women in Guatemala, roughly half the women the situation for indigenous women in Guatemala is even more grim. Roughly half the women in our program are indigenous. Poverty and chronic malnutrition rates rise to nearly 80% in indigenous areas, where public spending and access to social help is half of that non-indigenous areas. They experience unequal access to healthcare, educational opportunities, nutritious foods, and jobs. Now, you might be asking how the COVID situation in Guatemala for women is. Well, since the first case of COVID was reported in Guatemala, the Public Prosecutor Office had received a search of 14,000 calls regarding violence against women. Keep in mind that the vast majority of women do not report abuse, not only because of fear, but also being confined with the offender limits their access to a phone. While people in urban areas can get the vaccine and buy sanitizers, masks, and wash their hands constantly, the other part of the population, mostly indigenous, lack access to running or potable water. Clients in the rural areas have also been dramatically affected by this pandemic. And an additional information is that the public transportation has increased as the buses are operating at 50% of their capacity. How is vaccination in Guatemala, and when we will be able to see each other and feel safe? At the pace the government is distributing the vaccines, it will take 10 years for all Guatemalan population, almost 17 million people, to be fully vaccinated. As of mid-October this year, Guatemala has the third lowest rate of vaccination in Latin America, and is not going to reach the World Health Organization objective to have 40% of the population fully vaccinated by the end of this year. In a country with the most significant disparities in Latin America, where only 21% of the population have access to a computer, and 29% have access to the internet, registration through a website, which is necessary to get an appointment, is a distant and complicated task for indigenous communities. Thanks for listening, and I let Alice introduce Desiree.
Thank you so much, Eugenia. So much incredible, important information. And please, if you would, if any thoughts you have in the chat for Eugenia or about Guatemala, please go ahead and drop them in the chat for us. What I would like to iterate around what Eugenia just shared is, if you look at what's happening in Guatemala right now today, it's even more important and more impressive, the work that Namaste Direct does. And to also consider that the mission is to enable women to be able to improve their businesses and realize their dreams. And really a side benefit of what's happened as a result is it's lifted the lives of women in their own communities as sort of a side byproduct that of course we're happy to champion, although that wasn't the original aim of the organization when it set out. It's been an incredible thing that's come, and the people that are working in Guatemala are incredibly proud of that.
Thank you.
So yes, I want to bring on next here. We want to hear from our own Desiree Lyons. She's the Director of Development. She's in San Francisco. She's going to talk about Namaste's COVID relief program.
Yes.
Desiree, let's hear it.
Thank you, Elise. So Namaste's approach to the pandemic has been similar to our overall approach to empowering women, in that it has been very data-driven and strategic, and very laser focused on economic empowerment. So when COVID-19 first arrived in Guatemala in March of 2020, the country went into a really strict full lockdown. Public transportation came to a halt. There was a strict curfew put in place. If you were outside of your house after 4 p.m., you could get fined or even jailed. And all commerce that was non-essential was shut down. And we knew that our clients were going to be particularly hard hit by all of these restrictions and changes. And so the first thing that we did was we started calling our clients on a weekly basis to check in with them about how they were doing emotionally, mentally, and financially. Our business advisors really became a lifeline for our clients during this time. And they offered ongoing guidance and emotional support week after week. It was also a big help to us to have these weekly conversations as a way to collect data on our clients' situations. We got to get a lot of information about their household income and their health and their nutrition. And Namaste's management team then looked and reviewed at all of this data on a weekly basis to figure out how we could best support our clients through this really difficult time. And one of the first things that we noticed was that our clients were going to need support restructuring their businesses to become COVID-proof. And what we did was we looked at the clients who had businesses that focused on tourism, and we helped them sort of assess what other needs were in their community. It's like, okay, we're not going to be able to sell arts and textiles to tourists anymore, but there is a demand for prepared food in your community. There is a demand for masks in your community, and that is something that you can make. And so our business advisors really helped our clients focus in on how they could be competitive and switch gears to make ends meet. So that was really valuable. We also supported clients, as they were unable to take public transit to visit their customers. We helped them figure out new ways of reaching their customers. So a lot of our clients started using WhatsApp to communicate and sell their products online and then deliver them door to door. And this is something that continues to really serve our clients even almost two years later. It also became very clear that our clients were going to need support with loan repayments. So we instituted a 3-month grace period on all loan repayments, and we cut our interest rates in half. And that was really helpful as well. Another thing that we noticed as we were reviewing client data was that even though they were working really hard to restructure their businesses, especially for the first 8 months or so after the pandemic, our clients needed supplemental income. So we got together with some of our Rotarian partners and some of the students at the Hillsdale and Middle College Effect, And we put our heads together and we developed a basic income supplement program. And this was available to all of the women who were clearly working very hard to restructure and make their businesses stay afloat, but that simply weren't earning enough money. So anyone who was earning less than $256 per month was able to receive supplemental income through Namaste. And to date, we have distributed over $23,000 through this program. And it's really been a godsend for our clients who don't have any Social Security, who typically don't have savings, and don't have any insurance or safety net. So we've really offered them some support through an incredibly challenging time. And then finally, we launched an emergency household fund. And this is a program where our business advisors can nominate women who are facing immense hardship and can't afford the cost of housing, food, or medical care. And Namaste provides cash grants to help them through that as well. So all of this that has been going on over the last almost 2 years has really had positive results. We've seen our clients increase their profits by an average of 50% in the last year, which is pretty extraordinary considering the circumstances. And all of that would not be possible if not for donors like you. So thank you so much for all of you chipping in and helping and investing in the lives and businesses of these women. It really has made a profound impact. So now I want to switch gears and talk a little bit more about data and how Namaste uses data and analytics on a more granular level to make sure that we're having a positive impact in the lives of our clients. So I am going to share a really great video that was created by Ali, our IT manager. And Ali is here today. Ali, I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and just wave while I'm queuing up your video. If not.
Oh,
Hello, Ali. There she is. This is her.
Okay.
it's nice to meet you all, and thank you all for your support.
Okay.
When Namaste began its Women's Business Development Program in 2008, our overarching goal was to increase our clients' profits. To measure our effectiveness required using a lot of data points that not only reflected all the components of their businesses, but also the data behind the business loans we made to them to finance growth. We had reams and stacks of spreadsheets, which required an amazing amount of on-keep and hair pulling. In 2012, the construction of a custom database was completed, and we soon thereafter installed ClickView for analytics. The spreadsheets were read. At long last, we could prove that we were indeed data-driven. We entered a new phase of analytics in our quest to enable our staff and clients to data mine their way to the goal of maximizing women's profits. Currently, we collect around 600 data points. Demographics, education and family, poverty metrics that allow us to understand some particular aspects about the women that enroll in the program. With our data being updated every 2 hours, we can measure our clients' business performance very accurately. We can compare the business results to consolidate advice and replicate business strategies that translate into successful businesses. We can track how well they are keeping their records, if they are attending their advisors' visits, and if they are following their advice. We can provide our women with special personalized reports. These reports can prove how they are handling their business and help them verify if they are reaching their expected goals. Our systems allow us to help you know as a donor how your money has been invested and how well the women you are helping are performing. Our results are always transparent and straightforward. Now you are going to watch an example of how we get all this information. Today we are going to review one of our advisors' results. We go into VA portfolio and we get a dashboard with the information of all the clients currently enrolled into Namaste program. In order to select only Byron's clients, we are going to select him, and immediately our information gets filtered only to his clients. We can see how they are distributed through all of the loan cycles. We can measure how their visit attainment has been, if they are successfully recording their incomes and expenses, and if they are implementing Byron's advice. We also have this chart that helps us a lot to understand if the women are really making some profits. For that, we use the percentage change in profit, and we can reorder this information to any other categories that can help us to make better strategies or to apply new strategies to the current clients that we are advising. We also can get some other interesting information, as for example some statistics like their age, family members, average business years, and we can also see how are they distributed depending on their poverty levels or poverty categories. And this is how we are able to get all the information that we need to make better decisions and to implement better programs.
All right. Great.
Very impressive, Ali. Really, really great work. So proud of you. We could just bust. Thank you so much for that. Really great. So you can start to see just what your view into how your dollars actually make a difference to these women in their lives. So that data is something that really distinguishes us amongst other people that might provide a similar service in Guatemala. So with that, keeping us on track here, I'm sort of the taskmaster. I do see your questions coming in the chat. We're going to try to get to those after a couple more speakers, so please hang on for those. Joan, James, and Jean. What I want to do next is, since you've now had a chance to hear from some clients and some of the staff, we want to let you hear now from some of our Namaste partners. And so next up is Dr. Marilyn Fitzgerald of Traverse City Rotary Club. She's a dynamic supporter and thought partner. She's well known for her work building sustainability through empowerment. So Dr. Fitzgerald, can you come on screen, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, so good to see you.
Thank you.
So, right, isn't it just, this is a good place to be hanging out, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
It is. And we just have a few minutes with you and I want to extract as much as I can out of you. So first, help us understand how the Rotary partnership came about with Namaste.
Well, I'd been involved in humanitarian aid projects with Rotary for about 10 years before I started to realize that the projects that I had been influencing and supporting were not sustainable. So I began to look into microfinance. The important thing to know is that not all microfinance projects are created equally. And I stumbled into Namaste actually looking at a different project, and I was so taken with the program that they had. And I had been studying the Grameen model with Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh for quite some time. And so I was so excited to see what was going on at Namaste because they had such wonderful impact studies. They had the ability to track the money and understand the opportunity that was providing for women and their families and the communities that these families were living in, that I stopped looking as soon as I got there and started to write Rotary grants to help support this project and lend my influence wherever I could in the Rotary world to Namaste Direct because they're doing an amazing job.
Yes, I love your enthusiasm and your passion too, by the way. It's fantastic. Will you say a little something more about your experience and research with economic development? You also written a book, which is fantastic, but can you give us a little bit of a smattering of that research and that experience?
Sure. I did formal research. I'm a psychologist and did formal research on different programs to figure out what was sustainable and what actually happened. And it's so interesting to hear Bob Graham speak, because he talks about the fact that they asked the women what they wanted. Most projects that I was involved in, we told them what they needed. We went into impoverished places and said, obviously you need these things, and we're here to provide that for you. The difference with Namaste was that they asked the people. And that's a huge lesson that I covered in my book, that you can tell people what they need all day long, but you know what, these women are totally capable of making those other things happen, like education and medical care and food and those kind of things, giving the opportunity and the resources to make that happen. And that's what microfinance does in this program.
Okay, one last question, just to keep us on track here. I think it's really important that we talk about what the research tells us about the ROI of investing in women. What can you say about that?
Right. Well, the significance of investing in women and the return on our investments is what helps make things sustainable, helps make different projects sustainable. So when we invest in the women and their families can model that investment and see their mothers and daughters and sisters be educated, they then model that. And these people, then the return on the investment is not just in dollars, although Namaste does a great job of tracking that. It's also in what these women give back to their communities. And so it's not, I'll say this, just sorry to the men, but it's not just so much that if we're supporting males, what we have found out in many of the studies is they have the resources and then they may or may not stay in the community. What we have found out in the research with women is they reinvest that money back into their families and their communities. So the return on investment is so broad compared to just a narrow little benefit from the microfinance. And Namaste has done a wonderful job of tracking that.
Wish we could have more time with you, Dr. Fitzgerald. I appreciate so much your perspective and your experience. And just last in closing, would you please tell them the name of your book? I found it on Amazon. Would you please tell them it?
If I Had a Water Buffalo.
That's it. It's gorgeous. Pick it up. It's fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Fitzgerald. All right, next up, if we want to hear now from Greg Lance and the students from Middle College or Hillsdale Effect to speak about their experience with Namaste. So our involvement with some of the schools and some of those students has been phenomenal. So Greg Lance, will you come on screen, please?
Sure.
There you are. Hello.
Hello.
So would love to hear, first, if you could just give a quick introduction of how it is you got connected to Namaste, please.
Sure. Actually, it was through the Rotary Club. The former principal of Hillsdale High School in San Mateo was a Rotarian, and he and several other folks approached the school to find out if there might be a way for students to get involved in working with microfinance. And that path led us to Namaste, and here we are almost 10 years later, I think a little over 10 years later now, and it's been a tremendous learning opportunity for everyone involved, especially for the high school students in this area.
That's amazing. I'd love to hear that. And I don't know if you're going to share the experiences. Do we have students on as well?
Yeah, I think I'm going to I have 3 students with me. I've learned a long time ago that everybody wants to hear more from the students than they want to hear from me.
All right, well,
So,
let's bring them on. So what we love to do when you come on screen, please tell us your name and what year you're in. And then I'd love for you to start by talking about what you've learned about global solutions to poverty by your work through Namaste. So who'll go first?
I'll go first. My name is Isabella Del Porto. I'm a senior in the Middle College Effect. I joined the club at the beginning of my junior year, and the knowledge that I gained in 1 year really pushed me to try and take a leadership position in the club. Prior to joining, I didn't know anything about finance or collateral or anything to do with money management for that matter. However, joining Middle College Effect, I've been able to learn a lot more about the poverty cycle and how we, coming from a much more capitalistic society, are able to help. The biggest problem that we look towards battling is that people with a low income don't have the collateral or credit to receive any kinds of loans from traditional banks. They're considered high-risk investments to banks, and it's rare for them to consider these individuals for loans. We believe that beginning to break the poverty cycle starts with children, education, health, water, sanitation, economic security, child protection, and education and participation. a majority of people in our club are women under 18. So being able to raise money for women living below the poverty line who have children of their own is a huge push for all of us to educate not only the middle college program, but our family and friends at home as well.
Isabella, that is so beautiful. Maybe one or two more questions really quick for you, and then we'll see if we'll get the others on as well. So I'm interested to know how did you fundraise for Namaste?
Last year, it was a lot of virtual things because of COVID. We weren't in person. We did a lot of goodie bags, and students were hand delivering them like door to door and going to like pick everything up and assembling them at their own like homes. So it took a lot of time outside of school. And then I think Natalie is going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing this year.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
One last question for you, Isabella, is I'd like to know how your association with Namaste has inspired you to go forth in the world and where you're going in your future.
Just seeing the way that Namaste is able to promote women's economic security just really is so inspiring. Coming from a family of all women, it's just really inspiring to see how far that we're able to go.
Awesome, Isabella.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us and being
Thank
connected to us. Thank you. And who will go next? Who is the next student?
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. I'm a senior also in the Middle College Effect Club, and I actually just joined the club this year, so this is my first year. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about our first fundraiser that we did this year called Penny Wars, and it was our first club event of the school year, and I'll get into explaining a little more context behind it, but it was really fun to just see the behind the scenes process behind the fundraiser and how willing everyone was to participate in this fundraiser and make it such an exciting experience. We ended up raising a total of nearly $2,000 in just 2 weeks. Wow. Throughout our small little program at Middle College, and over $800 was raised solely in pennies. So I'm sure you can imagine.
I can't imagine.
Lay around. Mr. Lance is showing you guys. But,
yeah.
This is what $800 in pennies looks like.
Wow.
To give a little bit of background on what Penny Wars is, it's basically a competition between our different advisories at Middle College for who can get the most positive points. Positive points are basically any form of change, pennies, quarters, dimes, all that. And then dollars are negative points. So different students and advisories can put dollars in other advisories to count as negative points for that advisory. And throughout Penny Wars, members of our club would go around and remind people of the cause behind this fundraiser and make sure that it didn't get lost in all the chaos and competitiveness of this competition. And we're really proud of how successful it went this year and how much people were willing to donate, considering we're all high school students trying to deal with the stress of college and just starting our lives basically. So we just wanted to use this as an opportunity and a challenge to you guys regarding how you can contribute to this cause and help to support Namaste's mission towards raising money for women in Guatemala.
Thank you, Natalie. Very nicely done. Thank you so much for sharing. Was there a third student?
Yes.
Okay, please come on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maria Rodriguez. I'm also a senior, and this is my second year at MC Effect. I joined later on in the year of my junior year. I'm going to share a little bit more about like what MC Effect and what Namaste means to me. Hello, first and foremost, and good morning. Thank you for your time and for your attention. My name is Maria Rodriguez, as I previously shared. I am part of MC Effect, and I'm also a small business owner. My small business is composed of making sweet treats and like sweet arrangements, especially chocolate dipped strawberries. I decided to open my small business in February of 2021 as a way to make a little bit more cash. And I started my business with nothing but $250, which is approximately what the women in Guatemala are starting with. And I had a goal of 15 orders for Valentine's Day. In a blink of an eye, my 15 goal order was met, and I sold over 64 orders, That weekend alone, I dipped approximately 765 strawberries. It was my first successful sale, followed by a number since then. Being part of the club has taught me skills I wouldn't have to learn. I wouldn't have learned on my own, ways to manage my money and ways to manage a business with the help of some of the club lessons we have. I love this club because not only am I learning how to manage my own business, I am helping these women in Guatemala learn, and I'm learning co-handedly by their side. Not only do I learn from the club, but I learned from the women and their creating a beautiful sense of community. I continuously hope that as a club, we are able to help these women, but not only by helping the women, but help myself from them. Because I feel like this club, rather than coming as a white savior, the women in Guatemala actually kind of help us and save us as young minds and young women trying to make it in a business of man, a world of men.
Oh, beautiful share, Maria. Please, listeners and viewers, drop any comments for these fantastic students in the chat, if you would, please. Maria, that was beautifully said, right? So often what's beautiful, and I'm sure Bob Graham would echo this, is when we go and give to others so very often, we get so much more in return. And you're saying that just so, Maria, so beautiful, beautiful share. We're coming to the close here very quickly, and I want to give Desiree Lyons a chance to come on and tell you how you can help, how you can be part of what we're doing, invite you into the fold. Desiree?
Hello. Well, I feel so inspired after hearing the students talk. It is one of the unexpected joys of my job has been working with the students from Hillsdale and Middle College and seeing the great energy that they bring. So if you have been inspired by what you have seen today, we are a nonprofit organization, which means that we really survive on donations and grants and support from people like you. So if you are inclined to make a donation, I am adding our Give Now page on our website to the chat. And you know, COVID has been a really challenging time for nonprofits across the board, and Namaste has definitely felt that, but we have survived and our clients have survived, and together with your help, we are building resilience. So thank you so much for your interest and all you have given thus far.
Thank you, Desiree. And yes, really, we'd love to have you part of the Namaste family. So to whatever extent you care to be involved and care to support, we are graciously accepting. So in our last few minutes here, let's tackle a few of these questions that came in. Jay Archer is curious to know about the geography that Namaste serves. He's asking, is it focused in a few areas or spread out all over the country? Is that for you, Eugenia?
Yeah, James, thank you for your question. Yeah, we are working only in 4 departments of the 22 of Guatemala. We work in the Boca Costa of the Department of Sololá, Suchitepeques, Chimaltenango, and Zacatepeques.
Awesome, thank you, Eugenia. And then Jean wants us to explain cycles. So I think this would have been a question when Ali was talking about the cycles in the data. Who can take that question?
I can take that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Namaste's Creating Prosperity program that we've been talking about, that includes the microloans, business advising, and financial literacy, that runs in 9-month cycles. And so during each cycle, each client receives a customized microloan. They meet with their business advisor on a monthly basis, and they attend 10 hours of financial literacy classes. And we offer, I mean, we have some clients who have done 11 cycles with us to date. So that's what a cycle is. It's a 9-month term of our program.
Thank you, Desiree. Eugene Martin wants to know, can microloans be extended for purposes other than small businesses, like repayment of debts or other purposes?
I can take that as well. The answer to that is no. One of the things that really sets Namaste apart and a big piece of our education is that this support is to help women grow their businesses. And if they can keep their businesses intact, that will be a sustainable source of support for them and their families moving forward. So it's really, the loan amounts that we give out are totally based on their business goals and objectives.
Beautifully answered, Desiree. And our last final question comes from Deanna Lamb, and it's a perfect way to finish this up. She wants to know, how will you share the film of this presentation?
Oh, good question. I think the recording of this Zoom might be too big to email around, but we can upload it to YouTube. So I will follow up with all of the participants of this meeting and share a YouTube link once it's up there.
Perfect. So all of you so that happened through your registration. You gave us your email when you registered. So that means that link will come delivered to the email that you used when you registered. And with that, we're very close to the end here. Desiree, would you like to say anything in closing, or Eugenia?
Just thank you. Thanks so much for joining us for this conversation. And thank you, Elise, and everybody who's here. It's really wonderful to be together, even if it's virtually, in support of a shared cause.
Absolutely true. Eugenia, would you like to say something in closing?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. Just to see all these faces, it makes my day. I hope this ends soon so we are able to meet, including Bob and Ruth that we have not seen because of this pandemic. Alice, thank you for handling this event so great. Thank you, Marilyn, for your words. Students and Greg, thank you. And thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Eugenia. And finally, let's just finish this with Bob. Bob, final parting words?
I'm inspired. I want to get more money.
You've given so much of yours over the years, and your beautiful heart and soul. Thank you, Bob. Thank you all. It has been an absolute pleasure to be with you this afternoon, and looking forward to having you in the fold with us. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.